Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related query. And remember, viewers, just before we could hit break, I did mention that it is a techie special show. We have two technical guests to take all of your short to medium-term answers. All you have to do is write to us on the number that's flashing on the screen. Do remember, each time you write to us, mention your name, the location that you're writing to us from. Along with that, do mention the buy price, the quantity and the time horizon of a stock in case you've purchased. And if you've not purchased, then do mention the stock that you're looking to buy, and also with the time horizon. It'll be better and it'll help our experts to guide you better. And also a quick note for all of our viewers that we will not be addressing queries on any of the penny related stocks. So please don't mind if we are not able to take those queries of yours. But with that, let me bring on board our guest for today. We have Kunal Bothra who's joining us on for the technicals today. Along with that, we have Aditya Arora as well, who will guide you all on the technical front. A very good morning to you, Kunal, once again. Good morning to you as well, Aditya. Thank you so much for joining us on the special edition of Buy Now Sell Now. With that, let me kickstart taking the queries. Then this one is coming from Yuvraj. He's writing to us from Bangalore. He wants a technical view on ABFRL as well as Amara Raja. He's saying ABFRL broke out, but after that there is no follow through. Is it a hold or exit? And Amara Raja, he's holding at a 20% gain, so he wants a technical view on both of these counters. Kunal, I'll come first to you. What's your take coming in on both of these counters, ABFRL as well as Amara Raja batteries?
Yeah, so I think ABFRL managed to give a breakout, but then the breakout did not sustain. But when you look at this over the medium-term charts, the stock is just about getting into a consolidation. So I think over the last 3 months or so, the stock has been into a range from the month of May or June, where the stock has formed a base at 300, 310 mark and a resistance at 345, 350 level. So my expectation is that in case if the market texture doesn't get changed completely, then the stock may just about get into the zone of consolidation. You may look out for 300 as a critical support for the stock over the near term. And for Amara Raja batteries, I believe that the stock, after a very steep run which had happened for itself in the second half of 2023 and start of 2024, I think from thereafter the stock has gone to a patch of mean reversion. There could be a possibility that the stock may get into a further mean reversion phase over the next few weeks. So in case if you're looking to average out, then I would suggest wait out for lower levels to average out the stock.
The next query is from Ranjan Karkera from Bangalore. He has purchased around 1700 shares of IDFC First Bank. He wants to know the short to medium term view on this. Aditya, what would be your view on IDFC First?
I think the stock is in consolidation, and it has seen a steep fall from 84 kind of levels to almost 70, but now stock is stuck in a range wherein the lower band is 70 and the upper band is 84. I would advise caution if stock breaks the 70 zone, which is the important support for the stock. So I think he should be cautious if 70 is broken.
Aditya, what would be your view on IDFC Limited, the holding company?
IDFC is also in same kind of a consolidation phase. Again, the important support for the stock would be 103. If 103 is broken, probably there could be some downside. And as Kunal was saying that if the market texture remains same or if the market becomes little buoyant, there could be scope for breakout in IDFC first. But right now the market condition seems little pessimistic and bearish right now.
All right. This next query that I have then is coming in from Deepak from Bangalore. He's holding Bank of Baroda at an average price of 252 rupees per share. Kunal, he's currently at a 5% loss. So he wants to know whether should he look to average it or look to exit. And also he has SBI from the levels of 813 rupees per share.
Well, I would not suggest to average the stocks at current levels because of the fact that these stocks are struggling below their 200-day moving average, specifically Bank of Baroda. The stock over the last 1 or 2 weeks has gone through there was a phase of a rally or a sudden rally into the stock price, but that has been met with a selling pressure. The stock has made a fresh swing low. So that's a clear sign of weakness into the stock price. It's always best to buy the stock when it shows signs of strength, even if it's trading at a slight higher levels, because the degree of confidence is pretty much on the higher side. So would not suggest to average out both of these names.
The next query is from Srinath from Chennai. He wants to know whether is it a good time to buy REC from short to medium term. Also, Aditya, if you could help him with some target price on REC.
REC, has seen a very good outperformance since a while. I would only suggest to buy REC if there's a breakout above 650 level, which is the important hurdle for the stock. Otherwise, I think there's scope for some time correction in this counter, and lower level where risk to reward is pretty favorable is the 550 and 560 zone. Right now, I wouldn't suggest to buy the stock. Wait for either breakout on the upside or wait for the support wherein the risk reward is favorable.
All right, this one is coming in from Subrata Mukherjee from Kolkata, and Kunal, he wants to know, should he look to buy Reliance Industries today for the long term?
Well, for long term you can look to buy. I think if I'm not wrong, even the bonus is announced for Reliance Industries. I'm not sure of the dates. So maybe that could be also one of the reasons why over the short term the stock may find some bit of buyers. So longer term wise, yes, the stock looks attractive. But very recently what we've seen as an odd play for Reliance Industries, that the stock has gone into a zone where it corrects when the market gets into a breakout mode, and if the stock remains sideways or it underperforms when the market gets into a corrective phase. So I think that's the odd behavior the stock has been exhibiting. But then on the longer term basis, these kind of odd behaviors, they tend to be actually good opportunities for traders who are looking out for building on portfolios, and especially with a stock like Reliance Industries.
Well, the next query is from Sankar from Chennai. He has around 100 shares of Ircon bought at a price of 239. He wants to know, Aditya, whether should he continue to hold this counter or sell?
I think he can book out from this counter, exit the counter, because stock is showing persistent weakness after hitting high of about 350. The stock is continuously trending down and is also making lower low and lower highs. So that is suggesting weakness in the counter. So I wouldn't suggest to be bullish on this counter. It's better to take chips off the table.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Ircon. But Ashoka Buildcon, Kunal, this one is coming in from Sushila, wants to know what's the right price to go ahead and buy Ashoka Buildcon, and what's the right target that one should aim for this one?
See, very recently the stock has seen a very huge run up. I think last 2 days the stock has risen from 225 to 280.85, which it hit today. Now after such kind of a steep uptrend, given the kind of market we are into, I think I would probably expect the stock to get back into a corrective phase. So maybe if it comes back to 250 mark, and assuming if the market structure remains positive, then I think that could be a good zone where you may look to chip in.
The next query is from Bhagwan Bablani from Mumbai. He has 500 shares of L&T Finance bought at a price of 188 rupees and 500 shares of GSFC bought at a price of 225. He wants to know the short-term view on both these counters. Kunal, what would be your view here?
So L&T Finance, short-term wise, the stock looks to be into an underperforming zone. I think it's remaining to a range of 175 to 160 broadly. So it's a 10% range the stock is stuck into. Maybe this time around the stock could probably go into a retest of that 160 mark. That could be a zone where you may consider buying the stock. And for GSFC, you said, I think GSFC I think has been a fantastic chart on a longer term basis. Very recently the stock is just about chugging along the 200-day moving average. If you see the stock getting to a breakout, which I think is around 245 mark for GSFC, that could be a point where you may consider buying.
All right, this next query that I have is coming in from this one is coming from Amarnath, who's writing to us from Bangalore, and he's planning to buy 1,000 shares of Bank of Maharashtra, 500 shares of Muthoot Microfinance. He wants to know what's the take. Does it make sense to buy at current price, Aditya, or should he wait out?
Bank of Maharashtra is breaking down, so I wouldn't suggest to buy Bank of Maharashtra right now. Right level to think about Bank of Maharashtra would be 52 to 53, where there's strong support for the counter. Over there, he can again review this. And the second stock is Muthoot Microfinance. So I would suggest wait for a breakout in Muthoot Finance. It has been a good consolidation, or the stock is in a very broad range of 200 on the bottom end and 260 on the upper end. So wait for a breakout about 260 there. The momentum could be really good, and stock could reach levels like 280 to 300, but only when it breaks about 260 odd levels.
From Krish, he's a senior citizen, and it's for you, Aditya. He's holding around 209 shares of Narayana Rudhalay, bought at a price of 1,215. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold this counter.
I think this is one of the very good stock because given the corrective mode of the market, the stock is holding on very strongly and now also breaking the upper end of the range. So a very good time to get into this counter at 1311. One should place the stop loss at 1160 and target should be 1450 to 1600. So I maintain bullish bias on this counter.
Right, this was coming from Pratmesh, writing to us from Mumbai. A query for you, Kunal. 35 shares of Asian Paints is what he's holding at the levels of 2,810 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should hold or book profits. He's saying he can hold for more 3 months. What's your take coming on Asian Paints? Because this particular stock, there was a phase where it did not perform at all. Over the last 3 months, we've seen an 11% up move in Asian Paints. But what's your take? Should he look to go ahead and book profits right now or hold on?
I think you should continue to hold on. Maybe the worst could be behind the stock price. Looking at the recent price rally for Asian Paints, where the stock has moved from 2800, 2850 mark to now 3200 plus level. So I think in that anticipation would suggest a hold.
Okay, the next query is from Balaji from Madurai. And it's for you, Kunal. He wants to buy Reliance Industries and BEML. He wants to know whether is it a good time to buy both these counters.
So as I mentioned, that Reliance Industries, if you're looking at it from long-term play, could be a good buying territory at current levels. I think the 200-day moving average for the stock is at 2850 mark, 2885 to be precise. So I think in that sense, you may consider buying the stock closer to or sub 2900 levels. And for BEML, the stock is going through a corrective phase over the last 3 months or so. So I think it's corrected almost 1400 points or 1500 points from 5500 to now 3900 plus levels. There could be a residual correction of another 300-400 points, but that could be more of a short-term kind of a correction. So buy on dips could be an advice for BEML.
All right, let me take this next query then, and this query is coming in from Kalai Manish Shekhar, who's writing to us from Chennai, wants to know about Vodafone Idea. He has 20 shares of Vodafone Idea, which he's patiently been holding at the levels of 12 rupees per share ever since 2019. What's your take right now? What should he do? Look to be with it or look to exit? Because this particular stock did have a good run in between on back of the fundraising. Aditya, from there on, it's given off those levels. The stock is actually seeing 15% drop in the last 3 months.
Right. Recently, we have seen a good drop. Actually, in last 2 to 4 days, the stock has dropped significantly. Important support for the stock is 12 to 13 kind of level. I think it's an important support which has held for almost 3 to 4 times. Probably stock can again take support from there and bounce back from those level because long-term structure seems a little encouraging. So he should again review this strategy around 12.5 to 13 odd levels.
The next query is from Mervin from Goa. He's holding 209 shares of Karur Vysya Bank at an average price of 49. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold this counter, Kunal.
So again, a stock which has underperformed over the last few weeks, but it's showing signs of the stock going into a consolidation. This could be a good territory where we will to start consider buying on dips. So 220, 219 is where the stock is trading right now. Maybe closer to 204, 205 could be a starting point for you. In case if the market gets into maybe one more leg of correction, then I think that we may probably get the stock another 5%, 6% cheaper from current levels.
Well, that was Kunal's view on Karur Vysya Bank. With that, let's slip into a short break and we'll address more of your queries post that.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Today is the techie special on Buy Now Sell Now. So let me take the next query that I have, and this one is coming in from our viewer, I think Venkat Ramani, who wants to know about Bharat Forge, who has about 800 shares at a price of 1,260 rupees per share. Wants to know whether to go ahead and add some more or look to exit. The holding period is 12 to 18 months. Kunal, what's your take coming in on Bharat Forge?
So I think you can continue to hold on to the stock price, but in terms of support or stop loss, I think keep 1500 as a support or a stop loss range for Bharat Forge, assuming if it's a short to medium term kind of a time frame you're looking out for, because the stock has gone to a multiple retest of this critical support level. Yes, it's bounced back, but if it breaks below this 1500 mark, there could be a sudden weakness which may probably encounter into the stock price, leading to a correction of maybe another 100 to 150 points on the downside for the stock.
The next query is from Manoj from Mumbai. He's holding around 100 shares of Piramal Enterprises, bought 6 months back at a price of 960 rupees. Aditya, should he continue to hold this counter, get out of it?
I think Piramal Enterprise was underperforming since a long time, but now stock is attempting a breakout above 1150 level. So the strength is good in the counter. He can continue to hold the counter.
All right. This next one is coming in from Akshay, writing to us from Bangalore. This one is for you, Kunal. He's holding 200 shares of SBI Cards. It's 2020, the IPO price. He wants to know what's a new price target that he should keep in mind for the stock in the longer term, or should he book out and move the money into any good NBFC?
Well, you can consider holding on to the stock as of now, because of the way the stock has given a breakout, and today's move confirms a potential weekly breakout also for SBI Card, coming out after almost I think 10 months or 11 months of a breakout move above 800 levels. So I think in that sense, I would suggest to hold on.
The next query is from Venu from Chennai. He wants to know whether should he buy Titan at current levels for the next 2 months. Aditya, what would be your view on Titan?
Titan is showing good strength. Yesterday also we saw a good spike in the counter. He can hold on for 2 months, but keeping a stop loss at 3550. Below that, the stock could have some weakness. Otherwise, the chart patterns look pretty positive and encouraging.
At current levels? Aditya, should he buy Titan at current levels?
Yes, he can buy Titan at current levels. He should maintain stop loss at 3550.
All right, Kunal, this one is coming from Sheshamma. Wants to know about Tata Power. Wanted to buy this one for a period of 3 months, but is it the right time to go ahead and buy Tata Power? One is that, and the additional query from my side would be, does it make sense to only buy it for 3 months?
Yeah, that's the point. So I think if you're looking at 3 months, then potentially the stock may remain stagnant at levels of 420, 430 where it's trading right now, because it's going through a time-wise consolidation. Volumes have dipped down dramatically for Tata Power. Volumes at one point were almost in the tune of 6 to 12 crores on NSE on the daily charts, and that has dipped down to just about some 75 lakhs, 1 CR for the stock on the daily basis. So that itself tells you that there's been drop in price activity for the stock, and that would be one of the reasons why you may probably expect the stock to remain into a range. So I'm not expecting any major breakout unless the volumes start to pick up on a consistent basis. That could be a trigger which you can watch out for. But yeah, I think it's a good stock to hold on to it from a long-term play.
Okay, the next query is for you, Kunal, and it's from Sanjeev. He has bought around 3,000 shares of NMDC at 2 different price levels, 210 and 250. So I believe his average price would be around 230. He wants to know what is the target for the stock for the next 3 months and the next 6 months.
So I think 3 month wise, I would expect the stock to remain into a range of 200 to 25. But over the next 6 months, in case if the stock breaks past above its 200 moving average, which currently is at 228 for NMDC, then you may probably expect the stock to get into a turnaround mode and potentially retesting levels of even 250 to 260 plus over that kind of a time frame.
All right. This next query that I have is coming in from Ravi Chandran, and he's writing to us from Hyderabad. Chola Finance, he has 100 shares at a price of 1,570 rupees per share. Aditya, he wants a target for the month end.
Look, target for month end is little difficult task because you have Fed meeting on 18th. So that would decide the precise direction for the market, and it has potential. It has the scope to influence the market greatly. So I cannot give exact targets for month end, but right now the stock trend remains pretty positive. The trend would turn downside when it would break yesterday's low, which is placed at 1534. So below that, the trend turns negative. Otherwise, the stock is holding on pretty strongly. So that is a positive sign.
He's from Krishna. He's a senior citizen, and it's for you, Kunal. He last week bought around 60 shares of Grasim at a price of 2,750 rupees. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold this counter for the next 3 months.
Yeah, you can consider holding on to the stock. I think it's shaping up to be quite well, and many of the peer group stocks are also getting into a breakout mode. The stock in the last 2 days had shown signs of a price pickup as well as recovery. So I'm expecting that if the markets remain stable, then you might see this stock also breaking past about that much anticipated 2800 levels, which is a huge resistance for Grasim over the near-term charts.
Alright, coming back on a query on NMDC, Tanuja from Calicut wants to know whether she should buy NMDC at current levels. What's your take, Aditya? Is it a buy right now?
Look, NMDC would be a better buy at about levels of 200, where the risk reward is pretty favorable. Over there, she can keep stop loss at 190 and wait for target of 210 to 220.
The next query is coming in from the next query is coming in from Shankar from Tuticorin. He wants to buy a few pharma stocks and he's asking for some suggestions on the same for the next 1 year. He can continue to hold these pharma stocks. Kunal, any suggestions on pharma companies?
See, I'll go with traditional large cap names, the likes of Sun Pharma, Cipla, even Lupin to that matter. I think these stocks have done pretty well for themselves. So I think stick by with the larger cap names, because in case if the market gets into a zone of volatility, you might probably expect that these pharma stocks and larger cap ones can probably stand to outperform. So I think I would probably go with the traditional larger cap names in the pharma pack.
Alright, this one is coming in from Rajiv. He's writing to us from Delhi, and Rajiv wants to know about Engineers India for a period of 6 months. What's your take, Aditya? How is this one looking on the charts for the next 6 months? I'm not sure if the viewers already purchased EIL. So you can give me a view. One, if he wants to buy this afresh, what should he do? What strategy he should adopt? And if he's already bought it in his portfolio, then what strategy should he use?
I think if he has bought the stock, then I would suggest exiting the counter, because stock is showing weakness since last few weeks. And if he hasn't bought, then a good price to accumulate this stock or buy this stock would be 170 to 180 kind of level, where stock has taken multiple support. In fact, it has took support almost 3 times. So over there, this reward is pretty favorable, and he can wait for a bounce back of 10 to 20% and keeping a stop loss of 170 odd levels.
Query is from Balaji from Chennai. He bought 100 shares of Central Bank at a price of 57 rupees. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold or exit this counter. Any short-term target on the same, Kunal?
No short-term targets, but I think you can hold on to the stock from a long-term play, because the stock has gone through almost 8-9 months of consolidation around the 67-68 mark, which is a resistance, and closer to 55 is a support. So keeping that as maybe a stop loss or a point where you may look to even average further, I would suggest that you can hold on to the stock.
Alright, let me come to you, Aditya, on this one. It's from Vidya, who's writing to us from Bangalore, and Vidya wants to know if it's good time to enter Edelweiss at current levels, and what would be the target for Edelweiss for a period of about 6 to 8 months.
Look, given the kind of market we have, which is very choppy and directionless, I wouldn't suggest to buy right now, because stock has run up from 60 odd levels to 120. It has almost doubled in last 1 to 2 months. So I wouldn't suggest buy at the current price, but it would be a better buy at 90-95 odd levels, where the important support levels are placed.
Okay. The next query is from Venkata Rao from Visakhapatnam. He's a great fan of you, Kunal, and the query is also to you. He has purchased KEC International. Actually, he wants to know whether can he purchase KEC International now, or if not now, what would be a safe entry price for KEC International?
Thank you so much. So on KEC International, I believe it's a fantastic chart to look at, but then maybe not the best price to buy the stock. It's already hit a life high today, breaking about the 1040 levels. Now, after this recent price volume action, I would probably expect KEC International to get into a corrective phase. Maybe, I think, in case of this correction extends for many of the mid cap names, and in case the stock comes closer to say 850 mark, that could be a point where you may consider buying the stock, not at current levels.
Alright, on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of your stock related queries with the 2 technical experts on the show. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and let's continue taking all of your stock related queries then. And this is coming in from Vishwanathan Nair. He wants to know about 3 stocks, Kunal. He wants to know whether he should buy today ONGC, BEL and Hudco. These are the 3 stocks he's asking whether he should buy today. On the other hand, I have, we also have another query coming from Jay Krishnan, who already has Hudco in his portfolio, 50 shares at a price of 305. So what should he do with his Hudco holding, and what should Mr. Vishwanathan do with all those 3 stocks?
See, all 3 names are very good from long-term play. Now, these stocks have had a fantastic uptrend in the last 2 years. I think 2022 is where the PSU rally started off, or I think 2021 end somewhere. So I think from there on, these stocks have done exceptionally well. Hudco, I remember being a stock which was just around some 40-45, moved towards 350 mark. So these stocks are going through a patch of consolidation as well as a price correction. Be ready that this could probably be maybe a 3-month, 6-month or even slightly higher time frame consolidation for many of these stocks. So if you're okay holding on to these stocks from a longer term play, you're looking at a buy and dips strategy, then I think it makes sense to chip into these stocks. ONGC also I think is an attractive name, looks attractive at current levels of 300 approximately. So bullish on all 3 of the names, but only from a long-term play.
Next query is from Salil Kumar Ghoshal from Kolkata. He has purchased around 430 shares of Canara Bank at a price of 117.6 rupees. He wants to know whether should he continue to hold this counter or exit. Aditya, what would be your view on Canara Bank?
I think he can hold on to the stock right now because it's placed at important support of 103, 102. So if that holds, it is okay, and he should maintain an important important support for the stock is 96, which was the low for budget day low. If that breaks, he should actually exit the stock. Otherwise, if the stock stabilizes around 102, 103, then there's scope for a bounce back.
All right, this next query that I have is coming in from Murli, who's writing to us from Muscat. He wants to know whether he can look to buy Cochin Shipyard right now. What's your take, Kunal? Do you think it's reached a level that one can actually look at right now, that is Cochin Shipyard?
Yeah, you may start consider buying the stock or at least tipping into the stock at current levels. Buy and dips approach is a better approach for Cochin Shipyard because the stock is exactly at the midpoint of its 50 and the 200 moving average, or very close to that 50%. In between these 2 averages. Now, on one hand, these stocks have corrected by a margin of I think 30-35%. So I think 2800, 2900 was the high for Cochin Shipyard. It's come back towards 1800 mark. Maybe there could be another residual correction of another 200, 300 points. So these stocks are very good from a long-term play. Short-term wise, I would expect these stocks to get into a correction. That's why a buy and dips strategy.
Well, the next query is from Siva, and he wants to know whether is it a good time to buy NTPC and CSE. Also, he has few shares of L&T Tech, and he wants views on actually all these 3 counters: NTPC, CSE, and L&T Tech. Aditya, what would be your view?
Look, CESC recently saw a good spike till levels of 210, and from there's some profit booking. So in the very short term, I think the stock is in little bit of corrective nature. Where it could stabilize is 165 odd levels. Over there, it would be better buy. Right now, I wouldn't suggest to stay long on this. And second one was NTPC, right? NTPC is again, had a poor week. This week has been pretty poor for the counter, where the stock corrected from 420 odd levels to 390, creating a bearish candle for the counter. So again, this is an exit because now stock is also trading below important moving averages. So further weakness can linger in this counter. And last one is L&T Tech.
Yes, L&T Tech.
L&T Tech is, attempting a breakout and trying to cross its important swing high, which was made in April 2024. So the stock has relative strength in the counter. I would suggest he can hold on to this counter with trailing stop loss of 5,400.
Next query is coming for you, Kunal. This one is from Vivek. He wants to know about an IT stock which he can ride for the next 2 to 3 years. He wants to invest his money into the counter. So which one do you think from the mid and the small cap space can he look at?
Well, it's a very tough one. So first of all, I'm very bullish on the IT stocks from the next 2 to 3 year play. So I think it's a good sign that you are looking at building onto the stock set, but very difficult to try and pinpoint just to 1 or 2 names from the mid cap or even on the large cap IT front, because you have to have a basket of stocks. Very difficult to get into that classic outperformer, which could because the set of outperformers, they keep on changing on a 2 to 3 month basis. For example, recently you had Infosys, which had been one of the best outperformers from the large cap front. Recently you've seen HCL Tech trying to get back into a very strong breakout mode. TCS is trying to make a catch up again, and same is the case with the large mid cap end of the IT pack. So bullish on the space for the next 2 years, but I think it's better to have a basket of stocks. Coforge, L&T, Infotech, Mindtree, Technology Services. Could be few of the names which you can consider from the mid cap IT names.
The next query is from Ramchandra from Chennai. He wants to know, the target price on Hindustan Zinc. In fact, he wants to know how long can he hold. So, Aditya, if you could give a stop loss and a target also on Hindustan Zinc.
Look, Hindustan Zinc has corrected significantly in last few weeks from 620 odd levels to 500. So stock is showing weakness. I don't see a great turnaround easily right now, because even copper is correcting significantly since last few weeks. So that is few of the fundamental triggers which has brought the stock down. But technically speaking, 470 is a good level where the stock could attempt a bounce back, and below 460 I think one should exit the counter, because again the stock would go in a downward spiral.
All right, I have now 1 but 2 queries on IREDA, Kunal. In fact, I'm sure I have much more if I actually go down the query loop or queue. This one has come from Sayan Dutt. He's writing to us from West Bengal. 300 shares of IREDA. His buy price is 276 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do. And the other one is come from Shrinu, who's writing to us from Vijayawada. Wants a short-term call on IREDA, 450 shares at a price of 260 rupees per share. What should both of our viewers do with IREDA, given the fact that I believe that they purchased the stock on the upper end, isn't it? Upper end of the price band.
Yeah, and that's the most trickiest part when you're trying to catch a momentum and the stock is at its peak of momentum. The risk reward is way off into the stock prices. That's why we keep on insisting that you wait out for the momentum to cool off, because you will eventually get the stock prices or stocks at much better prices once the eventual cool off happens or a mean reversion happens. Now the concern with IREDA is that the stock has broken below its critical supports, critical moving averages. The trend is looking weak. The volumes have been very low in this corrective way for IREDA, which means that traders are have not been able to get an exit into the stock price, and I think that's a concerning part, because that generally indicates that a residual correction could be at play for IREDA. I would sense that the stock should be ready for at least another 8 to 10% correction, if not more. So I think it depends on your your time frame you're looking out for. If you're a short-term investor, then I think maybe be ready for another 10% correction at least on the stock price. But if you're a long-term investor, then maybe sub 200 levels could be a zone where you may look to start chipping in or adding quantity.
All right, so that's the query coming in on IREDA, and that was the last query on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Actually, thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Aditya, for joining us on the show and resolving all of our stock-related queries. And viewers, with that, we come to this week's end to this week's edition of Buy Now, Sell Now as well. So it's a goodbye from Soumit, myself, Shrishti. We will see you next week.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.